reviews, discussions, and theories about films in horror, sci-fi, and genre. This is the Horror Deconstruction. Like, share, and subscribe to hear more.
What's up, everybody? It's the Horror Deconstruction. Happy Halloween! You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, most likely on YouTube. Give us a like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Hit that thumbs up. Let the people know you listen to this show with your host, Komp and...
Bloody. Blood.
Happy Halloween, everyone. We've been building up to this day. Today's film is...
Dracula, 1992.
Is that the New York Italian Dracula? Dracula?
Dracula.
Hey, I'm biting over here. So, Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992. The centuries-old vampire Count Dracula comes to England to seduce his barrister Jonathan Harker's fiancée Mina Murray and inflict havoc in the foreign land. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola, of course, the director of the Godfather films, and then also, what was that movie? Apocalypse Now. And most importantly, Francis Ford Coppola, he helped fund and rehabilitate the director of the Jeepers Creepers movies. So you can thank... He's the one that thought that the director of Jeepers Creepers should have a second chance. Oh, at least we got Jeepers Creepers out of it, but then there was also many affected young buttocks. So, yeah. Francis Ford Coppola did this one. Written by, obviously based on the novel by Bram Stoker, who did the original Dracula. And the screenplay by James V. Hart, starring Gary Oldman. Well, ironically, he was young in this movie. Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins, and also, obviously, Keanu Reeves. I've seen the bloody wolf at night. Like that.
It's very weird how he's in this movie.
Well, you know what I mean. He's a cool dude. People don't realize he's not a good actor.
I love him, but
he's very fun. I did not recognize Richard E. Grant because he looked so young. He was a doctor, the doctor boy from one of the Three Suitors for Lucy.
Okay.
He looked so. I was like, I didn't even recognize the motherfucker. Carrie Elways, obviously, the Princess Bride, and Saw was in this. Billy Campbell, who was the fucking Rocketeer. I was like, whoa, it's the Rocketeer.
I haven't seen that movie in fucking ages.
Fine ass Sadie Frost as Lucy, the redhead who gets turned into a vampire. She was fine. That's very sexist. Tom Waits, who's also very fine. He's a very fine man who played Renfield.
Yeah, he's very fine.
He's got dope ass fucking. He looked dope, yo. His.
Oh, he was good, yeah.
His insane suit, like his jacket suit.
He's been in a few and his
movies, finger stuff.
Actually.
Yeah, I only saw one thing of this movie called Domino, where he was like overacting. Monica Bellucci.
He was in The Fisher King, I believe. I could be wrong about that.
And Monica Bellucci, Amarora mia! Oh, the most beautiful woman from Italy. God bless that woman. She was, obviously she was in The Brotherhood of the Wolf, a movie we should do one day.
She was in another movie with Keanu Reeves. I wonder if that's how she got into The Matrix too.
Maybe. She was in The Matrix. I know Keanu saw her. What do you think Keanu said when he saw her?
I bet he was like, whoa.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was expecting you to say. So yeah, and it's good. This is a movie that when I watched it, because I didn't watch it when it first came out in the 90s, I was very much aware of it. It's so funny. Gary Oldman in the old makeup looks just like Leslie Nielsen does in Dracula Dead and Love.
Oh yeah, they did a great job.
I could not get it out of my head. I was like, he looks like fucking. I was like, is that why they picked him?
That's what they were basing it. I love when Leslie Nielsen takes off the hair wig.
I didn't even see that movie, but I seen most of the parts with it, like when he's trying to.
It's so fucking funny.
He's trying to make He's trying to make the hypnotized woman leave her room, but then the maid is also being covered. It says, "No, not you." Yep. You like that part is so stupid. There's no more room for kind of dumb humor like that Mel Brooks does anymore, which is a shame. But people said that was his worst movie.
Everybody should watch Dracula Dead.
That was his last.
Love that movie.
That was his last movie. He got shamed out of directing any more movies after that. It's a shame.
Really?
Anyway, yeah, he didn't make any movies after that. But anyway, back to this. So this was the star. Well, I don't know if it was star. I guess it was star-studded because Winona was pretty big. I don't know. Was this before? This was after Speed, obviously, right? With Keanu Reeves. But Francis Ford Coppola.
I don't know.
This is a movie that was so fucking dope. Like after I saw it, I saw a couple documentaries on it.
Visually
right after I saw
amazing.
it. A beautiful film.
God.
I got to get the name.
I think he used like old school techniques.
He did.
Like
There was one shot when Dracula was young and he was walking around town, and they used an actual hand crank camera for it.
Right.
So
right.
it was like this is a movie where like you can tell people care, like they cared about There's no movies like this anymore. You know what? And I don't. Every episode on this sounds like I'm talking shit about Marvel movies. I'm not. Like this is what the money that goes into a Marvel film, because they care because it's like the comic.
If they put that money towards this kind of old school traditional
period
shit,
pieces,
it would be insane.
Because this is like a period genre horror movie. Like the person that tries to make movies like this is like Guillermo del Toro, and it either works or it doesn't for the most part. But like the money goes to like Marvel movies now. You know what I mean? Like
I gotta say this. I had never seen this movie before. I've only ever heard about it.
Same, right?
And I've read the book. I've read the book Dracula when I was like a kid. I've seen a bunch of, Dracula related things, but never saw this movie somehow. And I was like, I have to watch it. Like, how can I mean,
the only great Dracula movie we saw was the Dario Argento Dracula, the piece of shit that we saw a while back with his. He puts his daughter.
Castlevania's pretty cool.
Oh, that's great. Although I had my bones. Did you finish the Castlevania show?
I don't think I watched the second season.
You got to finish. It's 3 seasons. It's incredible. So I don't want to spoil it. But anyway, so this film. My God, what a beautiful looking film. And it's like 2 hours long, straight 2 hours, and it goes like a fucking freight train. It is like there is no waste of time with this movie. It goes like, and the thing is with the
and so much happens.
A lot, yeah. Because the original novel, I mean, they added stuff that was not in the actual book itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's been years and years and years since I read the book, but like the whole love story between them
was not in the original, right?
Really, in the novel, from my memory, she's kind of repulsed by him in the novel.
Yeah, right. She was desperate by it. I think the only other good Dracula film we saw was obviously what the fuck was that movie called? What did we see? We saw the 1920s one. Remember the black and white one?
Nosferatu?
Yeah, that movie was dope, and that was like close to.
Of course, yeah.
That was close to the material.
Well,
I guess it was sort of.
They
actually made that movie illegally. Remember, because Bram Stoker's family said, "What the fuck? They didn't make that movie using the rights of F.W. Murnau. Made that movie without using, asking for the rights." So he really they were trying to destroy it, but then thankfully it survived. So it was good. It's a great movie actually, especially with the soundtrack
and with different soundtracks.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Music. I saw it on YouTube and I was like, "This is incredible." But anyway, getting back into this, obviously this is a film that. Very consciously made, as in like every detail of it is beautiful. If you watch the documentaries, I was
reading behind the scenes. Apparently, Gary Oldman and Winona Ryder did not get along.
Really, I didn't see.
Gary Oldman's one of those
method
actors
actor,
that, like,
a
method actor. So he was acting like a fucking Vlad the Impaler the whole time on set.
I mean, who wouldn't want to act like an impaler around? Okay, that was a very Bill Murray-esque joke. I apologize.
Oh, come on!
Dragging off from an old joke. Okay, so let's just get out of the way. Gary Oldman is fucking incredible as Dracula. He's a great actor. Obviously, he's great in everything.
He's amazing.
He's in one of my favorite movies.
He really makes Dracula like repulsive. Like you feel gross looking at him.
And he gets to wear different suits throughout of it. It's like fascinating watching the documentary because you see him in each costume. It's so fucking. He is.
I love his fucking armor.
His armor suit is supposed to be like a flayed man, like the man without flesh, but also like a wolf.
Yeah.
Looks incredible. I got to get into who designed it because she's fascinating. This Japanese woman named Eiko Ishioka. She unfortunately died of cancer a couple years ago. Her fucking work is gorgeous. Like usually you and I don't stop and talk about like costume designs in movie unless it's like a monster design. This is like if you really good movies.
No, this
like,
is sick. I'm looking at it right now.
There are movies like there's a movie like The Cell. Like I don't even hardly remember The Cell. That was a movie with Jennifer Lopez where she jumps into a serial killer's mind.
I remember not caring for it. Actually,
but the costume designs are fucking incredible. It's like movie.
Visually, it was a cool movie.
Yeah, so. Certain movies, when they go all out and they hire like an actual really good designer of costumes, and you can tell it's not just sort of some like how like and this is like I'm gonna shit on Marvel again. So you notice how other costumes sort of look similar, even though like in the comic books they look variously different characters. In the movies, they sort of have a genuine sort of mass look to them, but like. this Eiko Ishioka, like I literally had to go like, oh my god, look at her work. Her work is fucking, it's beautiful. It's incredible fucking design work. And Eikoishioka. You can just see her work. She's worked with a bunch of different directors, but man, oh man, it was her work. She died in 2012, unfortunately. She was education in Tokyo University of the Arts. Incredible art. I just wanted to get that out of the way because just every design in this film, costume-wise, is impeccable. It's beautiful. Fits every character. The fucking Dracula shit looks fucking amazing. Lucy, when she comes back as a vampire and she has her suit, good lord, everything looks impeccable in this movie. So let's get back into the film.
I had no idea Anthony Hopkins was in this either.
Oh yeah, I knew that he was in here. I forgot how fucking great he's like the comedy relief in the movie. I wasn't expecting him to be funny in this movie, but he's like he's like an oddball in the movie. So he's like a weirdo because like the part when he's talking about Lucy and he's like, yeah, we have to just stake her in the heart and then chop her head off. Like he says like it's nothing and it's like supposed to be for a laugh and that's like so incredible. But Gary Oldman, obviously the central performance of the film. I know they say that they're trying to make him like you feel bad for him. Yeah, right. Because in the original he's just they do a little bit. I don't really, he's still sort of a bad guy, but he is a bad guy. But I understand why he did it because he was thought to be killed in the war of I forget which war it was. This is Vlad.
Well, they lied. They lied.
Yeah, right. Vlad. Did they? I don't think they told her that he died. I think she just assumed he died after a couple of days.
They intentionally lied to get her to kill herself.
Where did you get that idea?
I don't know. That's how I don't think that's the case. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think that she just didn't hear from him from a couple of days, and she assumed he died, so she threw herself off of a roof or a window out of a balcony.
I guess. No. Okay, it says it right on the wiki.
Does it?
Yeah.
Why would those priests do that?
Returns from his victory against the Ottoman Empire to find his wife Elizabeth committed suicide after his enemies falsely reported.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't the priests that said it was the enemies that lied. So it wasn't like his own team said, oh, she killed herself.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I mean, unless the wiki is wrong, but I had that in my head too, so
okay.
I don't know.
No, I don't think that. I think that would be against the. You would want to keep your king happy. You know what I mean? It was also weird that Van Helsing was also a priest in that scene. So does that also mean that Van Helsing is as immortal as either a reincarnation or also immortal like Dracula, like in that?
I mean, there are problems with the idea that you reincarnate and look exactly like yourself. Like the DNA wouldn't allow that.
Yeah, that also makes it interesting. Like, does that make you want to go to a church and just start stabbing crosses to see if like blood shoots out of it or something like that?
Yeah, well, you got to be really angry.
Yeah, really super angry. So that's how he gets turned in there. Also, obviously, Keanu Reeves is Jonathan Harker with a very questionable British accent.
Yeah, apparently I was reading about it. Apparently this has always been like a funny thing online about.
Yeah, people always make fun of like his performance in this.
The thing is, I love Keanu Reeves.
Nah, he's a nice guy.
He's got a bad accent. It's silly. I don't understand why he's in the movie, but it's fine.
He's in it because he's hot.
It's still a great fucking movie, no matter what.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
He can't drag the movie down. Like it's impossible.
And like half of the movie, he's being like assaulted by these 3 vampire women, which I don't think anybody would have a problem with. I love that part when Dracula.
I'd let them tongue my holes.
When Dracula comes into the room.
Holes, I mean.
When Dracula comes into the room, and then 2 of the girls like form into like one person, and they're crawling like a spider and shit. That was weird shit, man. I remember just seeing that. It looked like they were scissoring, but they were like monsters at the same time. They actually showed the behind the scenes of that with the girls, and they were just like dancing, and they were like all ballet dancers. It was so fucking dope. Like it's so great. Was there anything that stood out for you? Or was there anything that didn't work for you with the film? Actually,
no. Honestly, I feel like this is a perfect movie.
It is. It's a beautiful film. It's like it's such a lavish movie. Do you know what I mean? It's like. One of the last things I did with my mom is
every moment of it. Like even though like the backgrounds, you could tell like they maybe like painted it or something, and then used like stop motion to make it look like it was moving, sort of.
Like the part when he was on the train. It was funny because Francis Ford Coppola didn't like, I think, the original effects that were being used in the film because they wanted to use CGI or something weird at the time, which would have made
exist back then.
Some sort of weird effect like that. But so he used his son, Roman Coppola, or not? Was it Roman? No, it was one of the other Coppola sons of his, and he had him do the stuff. And I think Sofia Coppola, who ended up being a big director, she directed Your Hero, the sexual guy Bill Murray in Lost in Translation. And so, his son did most of the effects here, and there was a great scene where Keanu Reeves is on the train, right? So what they did is they had Keanu Reeves, and he's there, and then they had a shot of the train like far away, like a toy train underneath, while he's in the middle, and then they had in the background they used a photograph or video, and they processed it behind the wall of Gary Oldman's eyes. So like it's all three elements going on at once. It was so fucking dope. Like the practical effects is so beautiful, and it is basically practical effects are almost like non-existent nowadays in film.
I wish that more movies were made like this.
Oh my god! But they don't want to spend the money on it. That's why like movies basically are dying because they don't bring back the money. But they do spend the money.
That's the thing. They spend so much money.
No, but the thing is they do it. They spend the money on known items like Fast and the Furious or something else. And listen, I don't want to take away from Fast and the Furious. I don't watch those movies, and I don't want to take away from Marvel movies, which I do watch. I watch all of them. Like
I love Marvel movies.
Yeah, so I mean that's what they spend it on because people will come out en masse to see it. They won't spend like 150 million on something normal. When they do and it bombs, and they go, "Oh, we're not doing that again." So that's why the problems happen. So,
but it wouldn't fucking bomb if they did this. That's the point.
How would you know? How do you know? You never know. Who knows?
I don't know.
So I mean, there's just every actor in this is I was gonna say Keanu. Besides Keanu, everybody else is cast incredibly in this film. He's not that bad though.
He's fine.
Yeah, he's not that good. Even Tom Waits, who's a musician, and I guess he's a side actor too. He's great
in it.
Yeah. The things that worked for me with this film, obviously, is the quickness of it, how fast it moves. Like, I was incredible that I saw it in one sitting.
How long is it?
I mean? It's 2 hours. It's literally an hour and 59 minutes, and they got a lot done. Because I think in the actual novel itself, it's not as like complicated. Because it's mostly just letters between other characters, So you can, glom off of all that information and just make a straight
I think it's
narrative.
like a lot of his diary and stuff.
Right. It's between all the different characters, actually. It's between a bunch of letters. It's like you recovered all the letters. And obviously Bram Stoker, I think, was a closeted gay man. So his idea of, like, Dracula, obviously people took interpretations later on that maybe Dracula was about fear of sort of sexual intimacy back in the day. So he had to put it encoded messaging within the writing with people, having sex and drinking blood. Blood is life and seduction and shit like that. Although I think the old Dracula wasn't seducing anything. So that young Dracula was very much a new element in this film based on the old book. But I think it clearly must have taken from Interview with the Vampire. Do you know what I mean? Like those sort of
when did that come out?
Obviously, many more years after Dracula, but I think I don't know if Interview with the Vampire was before. It had to be after this.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah, Interview with the Vampire had to be at least after this. But the idea of the sexy Dracula.
1994.
Okay, so that was 2 years after this, but at least the sexy Dracula, I think people liked that because who was Count Dooku? That was the evil wizard in Lord of the Rings, Saruman, who played him. Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee played Dracula, and he was sort of a sexy Dracula back in the day. There was another guy who was like a sexy Dracula. So they wanted to invent love. They wanted to put love into this and a love triangle between Jonathan Harker, although it's not really a triangle. But they wanted to make it more believable as compared to Nosferatu, where Dracula was just a horny old monster looking for this guy's girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
he's definitely not sexy, that's for sure.
Danny, would you walk around a millionaire's house and show him a photo of your hot girlfriend? I wouldn't, because I'm not a millionaire. I'm like, I don't want this fucking guy coming after my girlfriend.
In fact, I would have left that house the moment I walked in it. I would have walked in, seen the guy, and been like, all right, see ya. Like,
they showed some cool practical effects. Like, the part where the coach drives up to the house and he picks up Jonathan Harker? Like, and you see the hand like reach out and it grabs him and puts him inside. They actually had the guy who was playing the coachman was sitting on an extending seat, so the seat extended out, so his arm looked like it was growing, and just grabbed him and put him into the fucking. If somebody with an 8-foot fucking arm pulled me into a couch, I would
jump the fuck out and run. But then again, where could he go? Because there's wolves everywhere.
That's true. So actually, what they put in here, but they made it shorter, was the Voyage of the Demeter, which was a large aspect of the book itself, which was the
Oh,
boat.
the boat, yeah.
Yeah, where Dracula was in, and he just attacked everybody and ate him, which I think people were trying to make a film itself back then in the days. They've been trying to make a movie of just that, The Voyage of the Demeter.
Anne Rice kind of did something like it in one of her books where it was like a body swap one with Lestat.
Yeah, the
and
body
at the
thief,
point
right?
Where they're
Tell
on
the
a
body
cruise
thief.
ship or something.
I saw a recent Dracula series on Netflix. I'm still only on the 3rd episode. They're all like, each episode is about an hour and 10 minutes. It's 3 episodes of Dracula, but like retold for modern times. It's pretty fucking good. And one episode is the Demeter episode, but it's like a modern take. It's not like back then. It's like now, like in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Really good movie, really good show. And Dracula on it is pretty good, but it's like... The only ridiculous thing in the 3rd film is that Dracula's lawyer, who is like a Renfield guy, gets him out of jail. I'm like, but this guy is like Dracula. Like, you can't take this guy out of jail. He's obviously a monster from hell, but whatever. But I think that I didn't have any issues with this film. I actually thought it's a lovely film.
I was trying to remember in the book, because, you know, obviously, like, he's in the sunlight and shit like that, but then I'm remembering, like, I don't think it ever explicitly
No,
said he can't.
Nosferatu was the one that invented that. Remember we spoke about that? Like, if you listen to our episode of Nosferatu the movie invented the vampires
sunlight.
not being able to go in sunlight.
But then also the thing that he has to have the earth from where he's from.
Yeah. No, that was definitely in the book, I think, because that was in the
I think
coffins,
that
right?
was too. I think that's what was in the.
Can you imagine how like such a small thing like that F.W. Murnau did for Nosferatu? Like, he probably just ran out of how to kill Dracula. Because what the fuck do I kill Dracula with? And they're like,
the sun.
The sun. I'm a genius. And he just puts it in, and that became part of the lore, which is great. So I mean, like. So this film doesn't use that, obviously, because Dracula's able to walk around in the sunlight like nothing. So if you're, you can't be a purist for vampires if you believe that's the case, because that wasn't in the original novel. So it's a really fascinating looking film. I feel like we haven't spoken
Maybe
anything
it was
about
in the
this movie.
original mythology of vampires as a whole, though. I don't know. I've never.
What'd you think of Winona Ryder in the movie?
Oh, she's great. I love her.
This
She's
is
amazing in it.
peak Winona Ryder. This is if you were born in the 80s or even in the 70s, like this is the Winona Ryder that you like loved. Besides her being in Beetlejuice, like
I love her so much. Like everything she's in, I love.
I'm so happy that she's returned. Remember, she got into trouble for like stealing from a store once. Like she shoplifted.
Honestly, when I heard that, I thought it made her cooler. I liked it.
Danny likes dangerous people. He likes Winona Ryder.
She's not dangerous. She's just a weird person who wanted to steal things, so she got a thrill out of it.
You like
that's
Bill
it.
Murray?
She's weird. I like that.
You love Bill Murray and what he does on sets.
I mean, I only found out about it like a minute ago, but like
that only makes your love stronger.
Now I'm upset.
So yeah, Francis Ford Coppola's directing is just like, and when you see it behind the scenes, because there's parts where he wants, you have to watch it, Daddy. It's so funny because there's certain things that he wants, like certain like beats that he wants this Gary Oldman to hit, and he's not hitting it, so he's getting pissed at him. And just to see like in costume the old Dracula yelling at him and then throwing a hissy fit and trying to like, he just turns around and runs out of the room, but he has to lift his like dress up to run out of the room. It's like the funniest fucking thing. But he's great.
Funny.
Gary Oldman is so fucking good, and it always makes me sad to know that like Gary Oldman hated The Fifth Element because he's like so good in that movie too. But
Did
he just
he?
thought, he didn't like the movie. He just thought it was a stupid movie. He did it as a favor. But I think that I don't know what else is. Did you like the shadow running around? Is it like Dracula's shadow running around, like doing its own thing?
I loved all the different transformations of him as an old man, as a young man, as a
werewolf,
as a fucking bat creature. Like they did everything. It was cool.
Yeah, everything about this. There's really nothing that you can say that's like bad. But the only
They made
thing,
him like much more like a fucking like a monster. You know?
yeah, I think that's why people rag on Keanu Reeves, because he sort of sticks out of as a sore thumb. Do you know what I mean?
He does a little, but like
That's
fine.
the only. I think that's why he gets so much shit, because everything else in this movie is pretty much pitch perfect. Even the three guys that are trying to fuck Lucy, like the doctor, the cowboy.
But that's not his fault. That is Francis Ford Coppola's fault.
I guess, yeah. I mean,
He cast him. Like that's his fault.
it's not me. And he goes, like, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes. Like that would have been good if
Like
he
I
did
thought.
that in the movie.
I mean, Keanu Reeves is amazing in The Matrix and shit like that. Like no problems there. But like maybe as a serious man, like he shouldn't,
Listen to this. Steve Buscemi was the first choice to play Renfield, but he turned it down. What the fuck was Steve Buscemi doing? Was he nuts? He probably was.
Buscemi? I say Buscemi.
I think Buscemi is like how he actually pronounces it because it's like some more Italian thing.
I've always said Buscemi. I don't know.
I might be wrong. But yeah, like he probably thought like, oh, I don't want to play a creep in a movie, so maybe that's what it is. Francis Ford Coppola wanted Johnny Depp to play Jonathan Harker, which would have been fine.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
But the studio wanted someone who was more of a mainstream heartthrob. Could you imagine? Like Johnny Depp wasn't.
Keanu Reeves is a mainstream heartthrob.
Yeah, he is. He is.
No,
but like
not at that time in 1992.
I guess. I think this is a near masterpiece. It really is a near masterpiece. The storyboards were done by the guy who directed, like I told you, the Spider-Man, the 3D animated movie.
God, could you imagine how hard the storyboards must have been for this movie?
Yeah, I mean, they showed it in. I saw it in the documentary. They show him doing it, and it's just like, wow, this guy's. He ended up doing Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, whatever.
Oh,
it was
you told me that.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that guy. The director of that is the one who did storyboards for this.
He's a sick, fucking incredible artist.
Yeah, he's an incredible fucking artist. Yeah, he's an amazing artist. Yeah. So I mean, like, and they just the work. It's such a stunning film. Like. Just watch the movie and watch the documentaries that come after it.
I have to say, guys, I didn't watch this movie. I don't know why. And I wasn't against the idea of why.
I think it's just one of those movies that come out where they say, oh, it's so great, and you just don't give a shit. You're like, oh, I'll get to it.
I just didn't give a shit. And it makes no sense because I love Dracula. I love Vlad the Impaler. I love Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
So I love Gary Oldman. So I don't know what the hell was wrong with me.
Keanu Reeves is like, really cool. And if Keanu Reeves is the worst part of the movie, he's not. So I mean, he's just like,
yeah, he's like whatever. Solid. He's like a whatever in like a 10 out of 10. Like it's crazy. Yeah.
So I mean, there's not really much I can say about this film than fucking watch it. Like just go watch the movie. You shouldn't even listen to this episode, but thank you anyway for listening because it's Halloween. But like, it's just an incredible fucking feat of filmmaking. Like there's just no other thing to say about it. Like we're kissing the movie's ass because it deserves to get its ass kicked.
Yeah, I was amazed by how good it was. I really was.
Yeah, the only bad thing is that Francis Ford Coppola helped the guy who did Jeepers Creepers. Victor Salva. That's the only thing. Maybe Dracula drained his blood enough that he lost his sense and helped that pervert. But anyway, but he's reformed, Danny. That's right. I feel bad now, right? Anyway, so Dracula 1992. My rating for it is obviously a 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10. Mm-hmm. Just casually chilling at this old creep's house with your photo open of your soon-to-be fiance, and he catches a nocturnal supernatural boner for her. Danny, what rating would you give Dracula 1992?
I agree. 10 out of 10. 10. You know, I'm gonna make it more meaningful. 11 out of 11.
Whoa! Just like
11 out of 11.
Spinal Tap. Good.
Turning into a bat creature and multiple, rodents and a wolf, and somehow you're still attractive to your dream girl. She doesn't judge you for it.
He's not a good boyfriend. He was humping Lucy, which I don't understand because he was like a wolf, right? And he still didn't do her doggy style. He was doing her missionary. It makes no sense. And with that, Danny,
I mean, that makes it all the stranger.
That's true. You go into the room. Monstrous. Why is that dog having sex with her like a human? This is outrageous.
It must be a vampire.
Get the cross. With that, Danny, what's the final word?
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.